Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a horror film, Sinister Part 2. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. 3 people are being seen in a cornfield, hanging from crosses. One person is filming the scene, and each of them has bags covering their heads. The camera person grabs a lighter and places it on the ground. This ignites a fire that burns all 3 of them. They are screaming in agony. Dylan Collins lies in bed looking a little spooky. He hears a slight screeching metal noise coming from his closet. Dylan stares at the open closet, noticing the hanging clothes are swaying and making a screeching metal noise. Dylan hides beneath his blanket for a moment before peeking into the closet again. This time he sees a person emerge from the darkness. He feels a childlike demonic presence in front of him for a moment, then it comes behind him. He then jumped out of his bed out of fear, and when he examined his bed, there was nothing. Deputy So-and-so goes to a church to confess to the priest. He tells about the last film and his family's fate. Since the murder situation, he hasn't been back on the force. Deputy So-and-so believes that there is a demonic presence at work. He is determined to prevent anyone else from experiencing the same fate. Dylan is with his twin brother Zach and mother Courtney at a supermarket. Zach argues with Dylan when Dylan is shot in a play, despite Zach saying he has hit his brother first. Courtney notices a suspicious-looking male looking at her and her boys. He is following her, and Courtney tells the children to start running. The man chases them as they run out of the supermarket. Courtney tells the security guard that the man chasing them touches one of her children. The security guard then blocks the man from following them. Courtney and the boys got in the car and drove away. The man calls someone on the phone as they leave, and says that it is the woman definitely. The family moves into a new house, which was once a church with a history of brutal murders. Dylan seems different, and sees something that his brother and mother can't. At night, a boy named Milo told Dylan to go to the basement with him. Dylan went along and met another boy named Ted. Both of them let Dylan watch a film. This film shows a family being hung upside down by their feet, and then eaten alive by an alligator. Dylan is too scared to finish the movie, despite Milo insisting that he will watch another. Dylan ran back into his bed and covered himself with a blanket. So-and-so decides to go to the church home to set it on fire, just like he did to other houses connected to the murders, including Oswald's home from the previous movie. Still, he stops when he sees the Collins family. Courtney believes he is working with the man at the supermarket. Courtney is even more surprised to learn that he is a private investigator. Courtney suspects her ex-husband sent him there to retrieve the boys. So-and-so claims he wants to only investigate the property, and Courtney agrees. So-and-so is in a motel investigating the string murders of which the Oswalds were a part. His computer screen shows flashes of Milo's murder, as well as photos of Milo. A red symbol that belongs to Bagul is also visible. Bagul appears in the shadows of So-and-so while the laptop is turned off. Before the computer switches back on, he sees a glimpse of the demon. The symbol showed up on the computer screen, and it seemed to be bleeding. So-and-so then shuts the laptop as he is frightened by it. At night, Milo revisits Dylan, but Dylan rejects Milo as he does not want to watch another horrifying video. Dylan experiences violent nightmares that night, including his father brutally beating his mother and about other murders. Milo and other children meet him in the basement. Milo and other children show him a Christmas morning video of a family having a good time, only to be buried alive in the snow and freeze to death. The family's mouth was tied up, their eyes were still moving, and their skin was in severe frostbites. The video ends and Dylan says he does not want to watch another video. Milo informs him that he must watch all the videos to end the nightmares. Zach is envious of Dylan, and pretends to be able to see the youngsters as well. Zach called Dylan a pussy and insulted him. Courtney notices him, and walks out of the house to confront Zach about what he said. So-and-so arrives to continue his investigation. Courtney showed him the church, and left to let So-and-so have the research alone. He studied the place where he compared the pictures. So-and-so then hears a slight noise. He walks through the darkened hallways, and notices a goblet in motion. He throws something at the goblet, and it turns out to be a rat. So-and-so flashes his flashlight, and then sees the shadows that are children. Then he gets a glimpse of Bagul. He jumped back and landed in another room. On the walls he saw the symbol. A man called on his phone, and informed him that Professor Jonas had gone missing, and left something to help them solve the case. So-and-so noticed Dylan alone on the porch. He approached Dylan and started a conversation with him. He stands next to him, and they talk about their nightmares. Clint arrives with state troopers to bring the boys home away from Courtney. Courtney tries to slap him, but Clint stops her hand. Dylan sees him and pees in his pants. She then ordered the boys to get inside the house. So-and-so tries to hold them back by calling their bluff when he discovers they don't have a warrant. They could arrest so-and-so. This will draw unwanted media attention, since he was arrested years ago. He could make it into a case of child kidnapping. The cop realized so-and-so was right. Clint promises to return even though the troopers leave. So-and-so tells Courtney to stay because she could be considered a flight risk. But he also wants to protect her and the boys from being slaughtered like the Oswalds. Courtney and Dylan invite so-and-so over to stay the night. He cannot sleep and joins Courtney outside for a smoke. Courtney confirms Clint's claim that he beat Dylan once before. Courtney says Clint sent Dylan to the hospital because of that. Milo revisits Dylan for the third time, and another child has added to the group playing his video. This time a family is tied in their kitchen and placed in a water pool before being electrocuted. Zach went into the basement after Dylan left and asked Milo why he was not chosen. Milo explained that Zach is neither better nor wiser than any of the children, including Dylan. So-and-so meets Dr. Stromberg for a discussion about his knowledge of the murders. Stromberg shows him a radio recording that a Norwegian girl made while playing the piano to her mother. The mother's terrified screams can be heard. Stromberg claims that the girl was telling Bagul that she couldn't listen to her playing because of her mother's screaming. The deputy requests that the radio be destroyed, and it's revealed that Bagul travels through art like books, film, music, and drawings. Zach takes Dylan out of the house and beats Dylan until he confesses that Zach is better than him. The ghost children shows up and scares Zach away. The children suggest he should do something to his family to make him weak. Courtney chastises Zach and requests that he apologize to his brother. However, Zach criticizes his mother and brother and refers to her as a cunt. Courtney maintains her composure and asks Zach to go to his room. Dylan's last video is from Milo, and it takes place at the church. As Bagul gave birth to a few rats, he nailed his family members to the ground. Milo collected the rats, laid them on each family's stomachs, and covered them with goblets. Finally, he placed hot coals on each one to make the rats eat the family's bodies. Dylan declares that he has ceased to watch these videos, then children looking like demonized. Dylan ran away from the children and kids inside the church. The children still managed to find him, and Milo claims that it's all okay, and that the videos were not meant for him. Dylan goes back inside the house and walks downstairs in the basement, where he finds the children and his brother Zach, who is watching the last video. Dylan tries to pull Zach out, but Zach is enjoying the video, and slaps Dylan, making him fall on the ground. Milo threatens Dylan not to tell anyone, or they will kill his family. Clint returns with a custody warrant, and Courtney is forced to give up her boys and goes home with him. At dinner, Dylan does not have the appetite to eat. Clint suggested he should eat, so he could gain energy. Clint gets mad and forcefully shoves mashed potatoes in Dylan's face. Clint stops and apologizes to Dylan, and wipes his face after Courtney yells at him to stop. So-and-so tries to contact Courtney and even makes it to Clint's house. He knocks on the door, and Clint opens it. Clint, with his gun, begins beating so-and-so before telling him that if Courtney ever returns to him, he will take it out on her again and then kill so-and-so. The ghost children are now helping Zach to prepare. Zach is making a video of his family having a picnic outside. Dylan spots something strange and takes Courtney's cell phone to send a message for help to so-and-so. Then so-and-so receives the message. Clint, Dylan, Courtney are all hung on crosses that night. Zach films them and then burns Clint first. Just as Zach was about to light the lighter to burn, the other family member, so-and-so, arrived and rammed Zach with his car. So-and-so takes Courtney and Dylan down while Zach tries his best to get up. Zach chases the three of them into the house holding a sickle. He slits a few fingers of so-and-so, but he escapes with Courtney and Dylan. Courtney covers so-and-so's hand with a cloth to stop bleeding. Then they run upstairs and hide. One of the ghost children saw so-and-so and tells the others where they are hiding. The children find so-and-so and help Zach get him, while Courtney and Dylan run downstairs. Zach tries to make a video of more killings, but so-and-so breaks the camera. Zach panics and runs to the basement in search of a new camera. The children say Bagul will get mad, and it is already too late for him. He did not get to finish killing them all, so Bagul would come after him instead. When the demon appears, he puts his hand on Zach's shoulders. The children watch as he begins to decay and transforms into a skeleton. Courtney then sees Zach on the screen on fire. So-and-so suggests they should leave. She dashes outside with Dylan. So-and-so sobs for Zach as the fire spreads throughout the house. So-and-so brings Courtney and Dylan back to his motel room. The ham radio suddenly turns on by itself and picks up a frequency. At first, he hears a voice. Then the children's voices mocking him, saying that it's the kids. Bagul's face appears to give one more scare. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Peace out.